and now we're gonna go on to ML726 versus Jecat.
Mm-hmm.
Set that up.
Yeah, sure. Well, we can talk about Iron a little bit. This is a very exciting match. We've been thinking of this as a likely Iron finals most of the season. Jecat, the early preseason favorite, just based on games played alone. My old sparring partner in the old tag team tournament way back in the day, back when I probably had fewer than 1,000 games myself. One of the more exciting tournaments in Spy Party history, by the way. ML726, on the other hand, has been playing a ton. Jecat has been rusty, has had to take a few weeks off. There have been a lot of forfeits, too. 2 of the 6 players in Iron are MIA, so it's basically just a 4-player division. That means some of these players, if they don't make a point to practice, are sometimes not playing for a couple weeks on end. ML not one of them. ML staying busy.
Yep. All right, and I am ready to look at picks and bans.
Yes.
All right, let's see. First, the first ban out of Jecat is interesting one. Terrace. Is that a map? Matt. Whoops. Thing.
Clearly, what's happened here is that Jecat's watched the Turnip Boy Inc. Nun series and thought, I don't want any of that. So
yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that yeah? But maybe it's just just in case. But
just
anyway, the ban out of Matt is Modern.
Interesting.
So they're not a fan of new maps, apparently.
Yeah, maybe. Matt has banned Modern twice this year. Week 2 against Mr. Rogers, and Week 4, the last time he played Jecat. He banned Modern then too.
All right. Anyway, and so the first pick from Jecat, very nice pick, Balcony.
He picked that in Week 4 too. So we're seeing a bit of a rehash of their Week 4 matchup.
How did their Week 4 matchup go?
ML won that one. So,
yeah, so maybe you don't want to do a rematch.
Well, right. We talked about this when KCM and Crazy Kaylee played again, that they basically did what Lieutenant Hummus referred to as the salty run back. But that was a very, very close match. Both of them basically saying, I want to do that again. Definitely not something you'd expect here in a very different scenario. But they did tie last time. So I don't know. Maybe we have a scenario where they're both actually happy with another tie.
It's like, if I just play a little bit better.
Right. They both talk themselves into maybe if I just play a little bit better.
All right. Anyway.
I think the main difference here is that the matchup between Jecat and ML was very early on into the season, and this one's obviously at the end of the season. Whereas with KCM and Kaylee, it was literally 2 weeks apart. So if you have 100% done your prep on Kaylee as KCM and thought, yep, this is the way I'm going to beat Kaylee, you just go back to that same strat, especially when you've had 2 weeks in between those matches.
Right.
All right. Anyway, the pick from Matt is Ballroom.
Yeah, he picked Ballroom again against Jecat in Week 4, and again in Week 2. It's not something he's picked the last couple weeks, but clearly very opponent-centric here.
All right. Second pick from Jecat is Gallery.
Well, stop me if you've heard this one, but that's what he picked in Week 4 against Matt. Wow, really, both of them just perfectly happy to replay that match, I guess.
All right, and the last pick, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. Matt is the loser of the Courtyard Chicken.
Oh, finally we have a difference from their Week 4 matchup. Last time it was Library, this time it's Courtyard. Close enough, though.
Yep, pretty much. Yep,
Interestingly enough, in the series last time between these two, Balcony was actually split with 4 spy wins between these guys. Ballroom was where Matt got his advantage by taking a spy win, so essentially going 3-1 in Ballroom. And then Library was the map pick from Matt, which Jecat came back on. So maybe and forced the tie. Maybe Matt's gone, okay, well, clearly Jecat bested me on Library last time we play. Let's choose something different.
Well, and that makes particular sense because he actually picked Library as his second pick in Weeks 4 and 5. So clearly trying to mix it up a little bit. Did ban it back in Week 7 against Mr. Rogers. So I always find it very interesting when right around mid-season, someone switches from picking a map to banning it or banning it to picking it, because that's around the point in the season where you think, okay, I've played everybody. Time to reevaluate, see where I am, and adjust based on the second half. And so we see a very clear first, second half split from Matt, where before kind of liked Library, and now banning it.
All right. Anyway, with that, we are under our first match on our first game in Balcony. We got Orange Sari here. Nice.
I choose to ignore this character selection. It is like any other character selection as far as I am concerned.
Oh,
unless it's Matt.
Yep.
Unless it's Matt. And I 100% expect that he was going for a bug on Balcony with a character like this. But since it's Jecat,
probably
not going to make that analysis.
All right. Anyway, here we go. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Scallions is smiling somewhere.
I do think the Courtyard pick is pretty reminiscent of the fact that Matt 100% doesn't want a repeat of the previous matchup where he was ahead for the majority of the series and then lost it on his own map pick. If any map you think you can split right down the middle 50-50, Courtyard is probably that map, and so I expect that's the main reason. We're going to go for a very early contact here. It's a white test. We pick up the highlight and then immediately a low light back to neutral. So Matt really not sure whether or not that's something he wants to credit.
Right, and 3 other people highlight already. So you got to think that ML, despite not having any flirt progress because they're across from their seduction target, actually pretty decent start. Not in terms of mission completion, but in terms of getting someone else shot, which is about how half the Balcony games end.
Yeah. Jecat, very good at Balcony. ML, it's not his favorite map, but he does definitely practice it every time he has to go up against Jecat, knowing very much that it's going to be in the pool and doesn't want to ban it either. Here we go, Jecat joining the conversation with our seduction target at 48 seconds. At this point, perhaps you're looking to get someone shot.
I think you have to. I think at this point you almost want to decide to and not talk, unless you're specifically prompted to.
We're staring down Pearls, who, as we know, is the double agent, but the sniper has no indication who the double agent is on Balcony. Let's see who talks first, whether it be Pearls or this highlighted twin, Bling Twin.
If she talks here before 10 seconds, it's going to be very hard. Oh, boy.
Oh, she leaves. This is good stuff. This is what Matt needs. He needs to hold onto his trigger. Oh, but there we go. A bug comes out of Jecat as the ambassador walks past.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Overtime beeps. 100% not seen. Jecat, what a bug.
Pretty good bug. And this is what you do. So we mentioned earlier, you probably don't want to try to complete missions. What you want to do is basically not talk at all, not really flirt. Bug late if a shot doesn't come off, quick enough. If nobody talks around 15 seconds, for example, and you know that no one's giving them a reason to shoot, then I was going to say you rush the bug. Or if you're lucky, like me and Jecat often are, you just stand still, the ambassador walks behind you, and you bug with Sari.
And looking at the camera movement, Matt's eyes 100% on Pearls and Bling Twin there. In fact, as the clock was going down to 0, he was considering pulling the trigger if the overtime beeps did come through from Bling Twin as well. So clearly, even though the bug is visible on screen, eyes were completely on the wrong area of the screen to catch it.
Yeah, I think he was actually looking at Pearls. We mentioned that how unfortunate it was for Jecat that Pearls left there rather than talked, but it also looks like she's making a beeline for the ambassador. So as a suspect, ML is watching that very closely. By the time the ambassador starts to walk by Jecat, we have the opposite problem, sort of. Bling is going to look like he's window flirting with Pearls. Yeah. So at the 2 key moments where we think Jecat is most likely to end up in trouble, one of the other suspects is doing something that at least temporarily seizes Matt's attention.
That's what you need on Balcony. That puts Jecat up 1-0 on his map pick with the chance to hold serve.
Yep, all right, and we'll see if Matt can do the same. Unfortunately, it looks like we're starting off with the laser on top of us, so if Jecat decides to just shoot right now, as is a pretty common strategy in Balcony, we'll find out if that happens in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It's a common strategy for non-specifically named streamers who play 5,000 games in 1 month, yes. Yeah, cough.
Oh, sorry.
Did you red test? Yeah.
Yeah, red test, yeah.
Well,
so
typically I didn't see it.
Banana bread.
Speaking of tests, that's a white contact of the double agent, and Matt is going to pick up the highlight, the only. Oh no, Smallman is also highlighted. So far behind the conversation that I couldn't see it. probably why he's highlighted.
Yeah, well, it looked like a possible, I think, window flirt there, and Jecat very suspicious of that. If you are a paranoid sniper, it is pretty awful to play balcony when people approach windows.
Pearl generally has a very good standing bug in conversation. However, when you're standing with your back to the laser, potentially not the best position for it. We haven't started our seduce yet either, which is going to make things very difficult for Matt. ML726, especially in the games that I played against him on balcony, loves to bug, and so I would anticipate that might be the road we take to win. However, look at this. Laser on small man, who then paths around our ambassador, Jecat, wondering if he got a good view at the hand from the small man. He bumps again.
Oh, gives him credit for it, yeah. He was zoomed in completely. He was absolutely concerned about that bug from that character, as well he should be. But he had a good view of it. Nothing else was obscuring it, so he's able to confidently say no bug, and even to bump him down. That's actually very, very unfortunate for ML.
We can't mission complete with a seduce here, so I would not recommend talking. Ambassador standing right next to us, but we have a drink in our left hand, meaning we can't bug without moving out of the conversation. The only other highlight has a briefcase in his hand. It'll be very difficult for Matt to force a shot here. Let's see if he's able to. Last minute crash bugs is his speciality. Here we go, straight over to the ambassador, seen on camera. Jacat's all over it, he's dancing, but he can't dance enough. That's the shot coming through.
Yeah. Oh man, it's rough trying to dance as one of the slowest characters.
I don't know how much it would have worked either way, but yeah, there's that's not a high percentage strategy, but it was the correct thing to do at that point. There just weren't enough other suspects, and Jecat just far too confident that no bugs had taken place, to his credit.
I think that's something that Jecat will know to look for as well from Matt. On almost any map is the late minute bug into dance moves. It's definitely one of the tendencies from ML726.
Personally, I prefer to die with dignity, stoically standing there.
I
mean, so there are a number
of their own.
Right. So it's a percentage play, right? I've done some pretty obvious bugs, and late in the game on balcony, sometimes people are watching for something like a late stop talk, something like that in case it goes into overtime. And sometimes just really, really obvious bugs don't get seen. And if they're not seen, then you don't move and you win. But if you dance, you guarantee they're going to know you did it, and then you're just playing the will they miss game, and they almost never do. So I tend to think that the percentage chance that they're not going to see the bug at all is a little higher than the one that they're going to miss the actual shot. But as you say, to each their own.
On that one, I think it was definitely seen.
Yeah, that one I don't think it mattered what he did.
Yeah.
Do you guys know you can swap statues on balcony? I mean, Taft right now is looking at those statues thinking...
Yeah, there's those two statues right over there.
If he's gonna crawl in through the window, I'd recommend the larger one to his left. But whatever you want to do there, Taft.
All right. Well, and we're starting again with the laser almost on us. Let's see if Matt has learned anything from his weeks of playing Mind Party against Kaylee. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think you actually forget things after playing Mind Party. I think your knowledge goes down after a few of those.
And by almost honors, you mean there were 4 AIs closer to the laser and Toby before you even get to Cat. So
that's the thing about balcony.
Classic.
The laser is always almost on you.
45 seconds added to the start of the game, right at the start. White test as well. Holy moly, Jecat. Well, who expects it? Adding time on balcony, not many people.
Not many people. I like to spar with Drawn. We play a lot of balcony games, and I think he's the only person crazy/good enough to do it with any regularity. And look at these, the early highlights.
Oh, no.
Flirting at windows. Oh, my.
Yeah, but we're in a conversation with only orange dress, and no one was talking for a good solid 3 to 4 seconds. Could be justified by the fact that Jecat took a sip. However, I think it would, usually on balcony, I would credit a little bit too more to that than otherwise. The BB comes through. It's a white test. Oh, wow. And actually, we suspect the bug as well. It's the only reason we'll take a shot there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You get a lot of phantom bugs on balcony. I've taken a few shots myself this season to my everlasting regret based on that. I can understand it, but it's really unfortunate when the phantom bug happens to you and you weren't even moving.
The arm was moving around, but we were talking, so it should move around. Unless, and I will give credit to Matt, he saw the time ad and was just waiting for a time to shoot, hoping that Jecat would try it again against him.
Yeah, he might have been kind of putting on a little bit of a show with those highlights and delay. That wasn't my first inclination, but the shot makes me reconsider. Onward then, I guess.
All right. Anyway, yep. Just ignore anything I'm doing here, and we got
It's fine.
Matt on Blink Twin.
Oh my goodness! I was wondering what you were up to, and now I see what it was. You were producing a short horror film, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's just. I'm just upset now. I'm just upset.
All right. Anyway, we got Matt going as Blink Twin. Let's see how he does. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That looked like something out of The Ring.
It was good. That is what I'll put it. What face in chat, if you agree. Matt here on Bling Twin. In decent range for a flirt, won't be enough to two flirters. And especially against a behaviorist-styled sniper, I would say Jecat can tend towards. Maybe you just don't try and finish missions on balcony. However, I think white tests when there's just you and another person in a conversation is not a good way to start.
So the only saving grace here is that there was so much movement at the time that Jecat didn't get every single low light. Alice, for example, had just left and bounced right back in. Jecat not sure if she was in or not. So that's something. It's not much. That's about as bad as a banana bread is going to get on balcony.
And so this is the real hard thing. You're against a behaviorist sniper. Now you have to consider, am I more suspicious if I finish, or am I more suspicious if I don't? If there's only three people, and the BB was so bad, and you know the sniper would have got at least 3 lowlights, probably 4, I think you might be stuck in your own head trying to work out what's the best way to beat Jecat.
Yeah, so one of the problems here is that when you have a bad banana bread on balcony, or even just a white test sometimes, that will sometimes alone convince the spy not to finish because they figure they're a huge suspect, and they can hamstring themselves sometimes. In this case, we know it's as bad as it seemed, but you don't always know as spy. I would say, generally speaking, you want to still make progress.
27 seconds left. The only AI realistically who's going to save us, I think, is Cowboy. Oh, no, we're going for a second
Banana
contact. Just to eliminate one more, and we're talking during it. It's white test versus green test, or there's no reason to shoot. One of the two. I think Jecat's patient enough to hold his shot. 7 seconds left.
Alice has not talked within the 10 seconds. There'll be no overtime. Unless he phantoms a bug, it's over.
There's the bug. Oh, and Matt gets it. The shot comes through, but it's no!
No!
It's worked!
Yes!
Oh, no! When he puts on his tap shoes.
Oh, God.
There you go.
There's your 1% chance. It doesn't really happen often enough for us to have data on this. We're all just sort of guessing. But here's the real problem. What you're really not banking on is so much a miss as you are panic. You must realize that's a 1-second bug. You have 10 seconds to line that up, for crying out loud.
Holy moly, that is incredible stuff. And I know how Jecat is feeling right now because Matt does this to me on a regular basis. It's disgusting, his dancing ability.
Well, so
brings it back.
Part of it is dancing ability. Part of it is just hoping that the sniper doesn't have the presence of mind to realize how long they have to shoot.
I'm going to say that actually the most impressive thing about this is that he landed that bug with 0.3 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the decision, although he nearly got to the point where he was shot for literally being the only person in conversation for both banana breads, although that did technically happen. The only other non-lowlight was Alice, who she was out. He wasn't caught for it because she bounced right back in. But technically, Matt was the only person who could have done them both, which is quite an accomplishment. It's almost like he was trying to do it. At that point, I hate to put it this way, but Jecat has to know he has 10 seconds. If you know that, you're not going to miss the shot. You're going to hit it. Just a little panicky with those beeps. And ML, you're a lovely player. Please finish flirts occasionally on balcony. Please, my heart can't take it.
Our bug is so good though.
Sure. Sure. I think in Diamond that they know they have those extra 5 seconds maybe, or even let's just say literally any other game. Let's say silver, gold, most of challenger. I think that's a high risk, high reward strategy. But if you're ML, you need to get to the point where you have that flirt in your back pocket. For most people, it's the default mission. So I mentioned earlier, I jokingly like to say that you want to do something every so often just because you haven't done it, right? Normally that means not flirting on balcony and occasionally doing a bug. For ML, that means occasionally not bugging on balcony.
Yeah, I think if you want to move away from your tendencies, then flirting as ML would be the way to do
As
it.
a change of pace strategy on balcony to flirt. Yes, that's right.
All right.
Mix it up.
All right. Anyway, we got Smallman / Penguin as spy. Now Jecat looking potentially to do some Smallman shenanigans. Return the favor, maybe. We'll see. And 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I mentioned earlier, Dowsy, that if you pick a suspicious character like this, usually it's going to be to complete missions. I think it has to be on Ballroom.
Oh, well, okay, we're just going to take the guest list straight away then. Over towards the blue bookshelf. Take a gulp immediately. Just pretend like we spawned in with this drink. Pick up a book and hope it goes all unnoticed.
I think he got away with it. I can't believe this. But yeah, it's one thing to pick small men on a map like Pub where everything's visible. If you're going to pick a map with occlusion, gallery, ballroom, something like that, veranda, and you pick small men, I really feel like you're thinking about completing missions. Jecat, if not thinking about completing missions, certainly at least going to try to induce a shot now with the banana bread at some point in the next 2 minutes.
Well, we go from blue bookshelf to the other side of the map, the window pad near the green bookshelf. Potentially for Jecat, he doesn't have to do anything, but adding time here to the clock could be a way of ML getting back into the game. It was a white test, so the 45 seconds is on the sniper clock.
Ooh.
Was that an attempt at a highlight? Yeah, it was. So he has been highlighted, so that means the white test was very much likely seen.
Or just a delayed highlight for Smallman. Remember, he ended up at bookshelves behind someone, so maybe wasn't seen for a little bit. But I think you're right. It's probably more likely the time ad. I actually don't hate the time ad there because the problem with that purloin is, as a spy, you either got away very clean or you're a huge suspect. And what you do next is going to depend on that. Sometimes a time ad, particularly like a green time ad, is a good way, a lower risk way to suss out whether or not they're already all over you.
Well, the low risk turns into high risk here for Jecat, unfortunately. In a conversation with the seduction target, our first flirt was a 51% green test, meaning that in just a couple seconds' time, when the flirtation expires, cooldown expires, we can get another action test in. If it's green, then we've got good progress, and it will be. So 2 missions done, and 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. Jecat doesn't have to rush, that's for sure.
No, he doesn't, and he probably still doesn't know what kind of suspect he is. And Jecat, with the standard drink after the purloin, what kind of crazy spy would occupy their hands after the purloin with an unnecessary drink? Surely not me.
A behaviorist is the only one who would do that, trying their best to get a low light against a fellow behaviorist, which I can inform you, Matt is not.
Yes.
Highlights are coming out for statue touches. We pick up the briefcase. It's a difficult fingerprint. I wonder how on top of this Matt is, and it fails, unfortunately, as well for Jecat. So 2 things happen here. Either ML doesn't know that it's a difficult fingerprint, and so he gives even more heat over to Jecat, or he does know, and he goes, okay, well, it's difficult. Maybe I don't care about it.
Right, and I think that is Jecat's brief attempt to see if he can avoid banana bread and or statues, which could, as I mentioned, be shot prompts, especially if he's not sure how much of a suspect he is for that purloin.
During the conversation with our double agent, we're going to go for an innocent talk. Another briefcase return comes through from Irish. This is the second time that Freeman has been to statues. If I was Jecat, potentially a swap here would be a good way of making it seem like the spy is Morgan Freeman. Instead, we just get a bug completely unseen at the back of the conversation. Really nice stuff.
It was unseen primarily. Oh, that's
wow.
Gonna do it. Wow.
Okay, never mind.
Well, so this is a significant mistake. So the reason the bug wasn't seen is because he was staring down Morgan Freeman, clearly looking for a potential swap. Because he'd been to center statues just before, he goes again, and obviously a purloin is gone, so that could be it, right? He's watching it very closely, misses the bug as a result, but Morgan Freeman out of conversation during the BB. At that point, yeah, that's pretty rough.
3 failed bugs, actually? Or was it 2?
Yeah. I think it's
1?
2.
Yep.
2. Okay, so he starts 1. Unfortunately, the bug turns from walking to... I feel like that should connect even if it's walking. I think that it's... I'm not entirely sure on the bug mechanics, but I feel like there is.
Well, the walking range is slightly
some sort of. No,
Yes.
so he's 100% in walking range. I can tell you that with great confidence. But the bug triggers the failed bug triggers whilst the ambassador still is transitions from walking to
well,
standing.
no, he's not in walking range there. You can tell because the circle's not filled in.
Let's see. It fills in just as he leaves. So he's literally standing next to him, and it's not filled in. And the second he decides to leave, it lights up.
Yeah.
Right there. With the
on
briefcase.
replays, the circle only fills in once the bug has been completed.
Yeah.
And
There's
it's
slightly
only-
different rules
it's
for
only-
replays.
It's only in live games that the circle will fill in if you can achieve a bug.
Anyway, that looks a little too far for a walkie bug.
Well, anyway, regardless of what it is, he was very suspicious of Morgan there, and I wonder if he's so confident about that shot if the BB doesn't knock him out.
Yeah, I would have probably not BB'd there and gone for. I probably actually would have gone for a swap. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Who does 3 hardtails on Ballroom?
Yeah,
like that's just madness.
Yeah, as the most suspicious character possibly in the game.
But weirdly, swap would have been like the best option because I think middle statues would have been a shot too.
Yes.
Probably, yeah. And if he misses the fade on it, then you've got it down to a 50-50. And as a spy, you're going to take those odds.
All right. Anyway, Matt's up 1. It's still a pretty close set. We'll see what happens here. Ooh, we got just the normal plane twin. We don't see him too often. It's not. We haven't seen him too often today, anyway.
Everyone goes for bling instead of plane. There's plane left out. I think that's a case of bling is the twin on the left when you select. And people just tend to go to things on the left for whatever reason.
Yep, that makes sense. See how it goes in 3, 2, 1, plane it.
Does that make plane twin less suspicious, Warning Track?
I hope not. I would really hate to believe that any of the matches were turning on something like that, but we've seen them turn on sillier things, so maybe.
Joining the conversation with a seduction target happens to be small man. Purposeful, maybe? Who knows? Is going to mean that Matt does pick up a flirt for 32%. Not the greatest of percentage because we require a green test if we want to get... I know we don't. I'm just bad at maths. We can do 2 34s.
Yeah. So there are some upsides and some downsides to having your seduction target be a suspicious character. On one hand, they're going to be watching them closely, which means if you're near them, they'll be watching you closely. So if you were going to, say, flirt into Purloin, that's a little less viable now. On the other hand, you can always red flirt them and make them go off and do things and just move around. So if you're looking to frame, not that you would necessarily want to on Ballroom, maybe that's a slightly more viable option.
Also ensures that they won't be selected as a suspected double agent.
Yes.
They won't become cast. Means that they're always going to be in the playing field. Oh, okay. So we actually pick up the briefcase, which gives us a difficult fingerprint, which we managed to hit the action test for. And Jecat throws us a behaviorist low light, thinking that's not something a spy will do.
Yeah, so it's either I don't think they would go for a difficult print, or I mistakenly thought that was the 3rd print attempt, and I don't think they would do that. Either way, that's a big deal, and Matt now just has to complete missions, probably.
One thing to note, that against a behaviorist, they will knock their lights up and down consistently. And so even though we have managed to put ourselves a low light against Jecat, doesn't mean that we are going to win the game. Within a click, if Matt does something that Jecat deems is super spy-ish, then he might just get a big old highlight.
Yeah, an atypical low light can become an atypical highlight in a moment's notice. It's only the hard ones that really stick.
Let's see how Matt does decide to play it. Joining a conversation that doesn't give us any value. It is the conversation, though, with the double agent, so we could go for the contact here. At 1 minute and 18 seconds, I think that it's worth its weight in value. What we don't know, though, is that the suspected double agent is in a conversation by himself. We're also being offered a drink. We're going to reject it here. Let's see. Does Matt want to finish missions? Yeah, we will. Green contact. No talking involved. Mission complete. Alice, Alice, who seems to be very suspicious, is going to receive a shot.
Yeah, that's a little much. No hardtail is showing, and this is something Jecat has struggled with. He's gotten a lot better this year, but typically speaking, his primary weakness as a player going into this season was being over-aggressive a sniper, particularly on Ballroom, I remember, because there's just so easy to imagine you miss something, and a very aggressive shot there. And when you look at the mission progress, you know, maybe ML's going to finish. I think there's a decent chance, but we were getting very close to that tragic spy scenario where you get an early low light, have no idea, and time out anyway. That I was getting very nervous about that, but Jecat saves him from the tragedy with that shot.
I think Matt was actually in an okay spot, but he was about to get his seduce in, and then
yeah, maybe, but we've seen him crash bug twice already. I mean, maybe.
Yep. But I mean, those were
watching
definitely planned, right?
Yeah.
Watching the game back as well from the corner of ballroom to see how Alice decided to play out her AI spy game. She goes to the paintings at the beginning of ballroom, which a behavioralist is going to go flirt, chucks a highlight to the two people at the painting. She then joins the conversation at the same time as the person who was at paintings with her, and they have a bit of a conversation. Immediately over to the briefcase to pick up the first fingerprint, into middle statues, again because it was into the conversation with the person that we're flirting with, into middle statues again because we didn't quite pick up the specs, into conversation with the suspected double agent, talking whilst the BB goes off. So, I mean, it's so justified from a behaviorist point of view. It's just unfortunate.
It's just the perils of behavioralism. It is the kind of thing you're susceptible to when you play that kind of sniper game. Sometimes it's going to burn you like that. The AI is just going to line things up perfectly. They're going to write that narrative for you and let you read it.
Yeah. That takes a spy win, and it is definitely aided by Alice.
Yes, yeah. We'll get an assist, we'll say.
All right. Anyway, with that, if I'm actually keeping score right for a change, it looks like Matt's up 2. That's 4-2 right now. So that's gonna be tough for Jecat to try and come back here, but it's certainly possible. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Jecat really just needs to play more. Just a really talented player, certainly capable of winning this division, but it's hard when you don't play. The spy party atrophies.
And I wonder, do the councilman of behaviorist snipers revoke his behaviorist card after a game like that?
We demand to be taken seriously, yes.
Well, obviously we kid a little bit, but yeah. Jecat here joins conversation with his seduction target, picks up a white flirt, now going to get a fingerprint off the briefcase and return it to our ambassador Queen here.
The thing is, they don't actually have membership cards. They just recognize each other by behavior. You seem like you'd be a behavioralist member, so I'm pretty sure you are. They have a lot of temporary members by accident that they then have to kick out again later.
This is a very valuable inspect here, as it's next to our seduction target, so we can pick up the flirt. However, unfortunately, due to the way it's all lined up, we've only been able to pick up one inspect, and it was middle statue inspect as well, so carries a little bit more heat than the others.
Right, so if the sniper has attention to spare, this can be very, very suspicious. You see 3 people go to statues, they all get highlights, and you know that at least, let's say 2, in this case, none of them could be done. If I'm a sniper in that position, I'm looking very closely, who has to go again? Because that is just such a spy thing to do, knowing that you couldn't have gotten them done. Oh boy.
Oh, okay, well, that's one way to lose a game, and I totally respect the attempt from Jecat. So what happens here, for those who are unaware, Jecat lines up at the window pad, calls Toby over, starts up a Perlu in the guest list, and then leaves as it happens.
Yeah.
And so what you do here as a spy is you're essentially going green or bust, make it look like it's a reject by walking away rather than a reject. Because
that seems like a pretty classic Dowsey move there. I think I've seen a few of those coming from...
Tune into my stream, you'll see it at least 5 times a stream, yeah.
Yeah. You'd think he has a Foley artist on his stream for all the sound effects you end up getting with clanks and crashes.
Though in fairness, I did the exact same thing in I believe it was my match against I forget who now, but I did the exact same thing in the SCL match.
I'm not sure if I've ever done it in a competitive match. You people are crazy, but I respect it. I'm a little surprised that ML shot so quickly because you can afford to wait for confirmation there, but I guess he just straight up saw it.
Yep.
And one thing to note is that ML has already won a sniper game due to crediting a bug that didn't happen, and 2 times Jecat walked paths by Queen that are very buggable and very difficult for the sniper to see. So there is a potential that there was a credit given to a bug that never happened as well.
Yeah, play it safe. Fair enough.
All right, and with that, things are getting kind of rough for Jecat. Matt is up 3 points now, so gonna have to start winning games. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep.
Nothing
more complicated than that. Just gotta win.
Yep.
Just gotta win. You gotta win now.
Win here puts you 5 to 3, and then you can bring it back on your map, pick a gallery, which I know Jecat's very good at.
Yeah, this actually isn't a terrible position to be in as long as you hold serve here. As long as you get this sniper win that you're supposed to get.
48%. Boo.
All right, Tobo.
Yeah, Tobo. We've all got a little Tobo in us. Tobo the romantic.
Is going to be that 48% flirt from the green test, just out of range for a 49%. Matt here joins a conversation with two other people who happen to be AI, just looking to try and seem as less suspicious as possible against the behaviorist sniper that is in Jecat. Now going to go to window pads. Maybe we add time here, maybe we don't. For ML, it's all about trying to figure out how to beat the behaviorist style.
Well, so what I really want to see after some of these games is how both players play it. Do they mix it up? ML seeing some aggressive shots come out. Not terrible shots, but some of them, let's say, a little on the aggressive side. Jecat knows he's been doing that too, and he also knows it's something he's struggled with in the past. So is he particularly patient this game, and does ML expect him to be? And right now, these flirts look very much like not trying to complete necessarily, but keeping a couple options open.
Yeah, well, the thing about this is a great fake banana
is.
bread as well.
That tells us a lot.
Takes the guest list. Oh, it's a white test though.
He made it easy on him.
Jecat. Yeah, I think Jacat's going to be all over this. So Matt, well, he's going to start the dancing process, knowing very well that he is dead. But I think he gives up, knowing that he has a whole minute and a half.
Yes.
A minute and 50 seconds that he'll have to dance for.
Jecat does have the presence of mind to realize one mission is done and there are 2 minutes on the clock. So maybe I can wait this one out.
I think Matt my guess. I think he thought he was hidden there. You can see he's trying to stand behind the general. It looks like
I didn't get it quite right.
Yeah, he was up. He did a bit too much.
There's really nothing to say about that. This isn't balcony. It doesn't even normally work. Then it definitely doesn't here.
If a dance doesn't work immediately on ballroom, then it's not going to work for the next 2 minutes. And I think Matt's
and not only that, but Matt would have had to figure out a way to complete all the missions in that time as well.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good times.
All right.
Maybe as a last minute. Look, there's a reason you don't normally do purloin in the middle of the game. People will try to rush it and get away with it clean, or maybe they'll do it at the end, where something like a dance or hesitation can win you the game. When you do it at that point, not so much. I think that's the kind of purloin where a green test might work and a white test definitely doesn't.
All right. So this is a really good position now for Jecat if he wants to come back into the series.
Yeah,
Gallery, a map that I think a lot of players still struggle on, and Jecat has kind of dedicated a lot of time to the craft of Gallery as well. So, I mean, any map I expect him to go 2-0 on, it would be this one.
I got to say, I can't believe you said craft of Gallery rather than art of Gallery.
Oh.
Sometimes the puns write themselves. But the really big thing about that last game for me, for Jecat, is that he's been a little jumpy. Not terribly, but a little. And you gave him a nice, calm, easy decision. Even if you don't complete missions there, if you stretch that game out and you get those beeps going at the end of the game and some people do some things, you're going to put the stress on him again. You're going to force him to take a stressful shot or to hold. Either way, it's going to be difficult. You're going to put him to the test. By giving him a nice, clean white purloin and then dancing, it's just a de-stressor. You give him a nice, clean win where he doesn't have to grapple with that choice we just mentioned.
As we spawn in, if you take a quick look at the spy cam, you see Jecat very close to the blue bookshelf, no drink in hand, camera on it as he spawns. I wonder if we get an immediate microfilm transfer.
Unfortunately, there's kind of nobody else there, so we'll see.
Yeah, interesting choice.
We'll find out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
AI control, going straight to green.
We were all wrong. We were all wrong.
Takes the book immediately. Oh, we're going straight over to blue. Can we get on the pad? Oh, yes, we can. Woo, woo. 3 bookshelves, and we just slammed it straight in there.
Oh, my God. So we were wondering.
Is the question?
The question was, is he not going to go for it because there's no cover, or is he going to go for it because he's close? He does neither. It doesn't go to blue. Go green. How counterintuitive.
And he gets away with it. He would have got away with it if it wasn't for you damned analysts trying to figure out what was going on.
Yes, or for you damned curly hair, literally almost obscuring all of Boots nearly.
Over to statues to pick up our highlight and our inspect and attempt at flirt, was there? I don't know if there was, but you can flirt from across the statue pad like that. Jecat picks up just one inspect, and so we'll likely look to finish by going to the other statues at some point later on this game.
An impressively long pause there. Might have gotten a low light from you there.
Oh yeah, from me he may have. Yeah, 100%.
That was a very long pause.
Something I'm working on is my my statue timing etiquette. Yeah,
Spies
it's
don't like
almost like
to
a
do
mixture of etiquette and behavioralism. I guess that's kind of what etiquette and behavioralism is. They definitely feed into each other.
Yes, yeah. Good luck figuring out where the boundary between these two lies.
Well, Jecat will know that he has to pause if he wants to look like an AI, and he does. Unfortunately for him, Matt zoomed in on Duke at the green bookshelf, so the little tricky AI move there doesn't go noticed.
Totally off camera, yes.
That's the worst. You're such a good AI, but the sniper can't see it.
Yep, and that's a pretty impressive number of lowlights.
Yeah, some of these seemed... I thought he was going to start low-lighting everyone. Oh, he bugged as well!
And it was definitely lost in the aftermath of the lowlights. And I think that was basically free.
Around a minute and a half, all Jecat has to do is go to the other statue set and inspect them. Will Matt assume that the spy is done is the question. Here we go, Jecat making his way downtown towards the statues now for his set of inspects.
This is the only statue you can go to because you want to do one of the front-facing statues so they're not worried about a swap. On the other hand, you've already inspected one on the other side. This is the only choice. It's early enough that it'll be possibly an over-aggressive shot from Matt if he takes it. You have to do it.
Mission win countdown, and Matt is not swinging his laser whatsoever towards Buns. The cleanest game of Gallery I've seen in quite some time. Jecat may have a chance of coming back.
It's just a really solid win. The microfilm was it was clearly opportunism at its finest, and it was a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Paid off very well. The bug, I don't know if it was planned to be in the aftermath of the banana bread, but it worked really well. And those kind of bugs do work particularly well on Gallery. It's not like some of these maps like Courtyard where you have a good snapshot of the party to get your lowlights later. You really do have to look around, particularly with that front conversation, to get as many as possible. And that leaves you vulnerable.
That was 100% an opportunistic bug from Jecat. Saw the possibility, went for it. And thankfully, 2 times in a row, actually, warning track. It was Red Dress Oprah, curly hair, whoever you call this character, who have blocked hardtails. The direct mission, microfilm transfer, and the bug both blocked by the same character.
Yeah, not technically marked as a double agent, but was certainly behaving like one, assisting the spy at every turn.
All right. Anyway, Jecat manages to bring it to within 1 point. Win here will bring it up to a tie. Let's see what happens in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That was the win Jecat needed.
Yes. This is altogether the most predictable script for this Iron Finals preview match. This is week 10. They play against Shivo again, but both of them pretty much locked in to be in the finals of Iron, which I assume we'll get a look at later on in the SCL tournament lifespan.
I do want to mention that Strobo and Mr. Rogers, I think they do still have an outside shot. There's been a little bit of late movement, and there's still some forfeits that have yet to be processed. This is still the one you'd have to bet on, but there is an opening.
Matt, so far, no mission progress, and 40 seconds have surpassed. Going to be going down towards the bottom conversation where the double agent is, as well as a seduction target. This conversation, very full though. However, there is one spot, as Pearl will demonstrate, and that was the only spot left in that conversation.
Yeah, and that's always a scary walk in Gallery. When you see your seduction target out front, you have to walk the whole length of the map, and you're sitting there thinking the whole time, please, please don't.
Was the bug beautiful? Was it
Off
seen?
screen.
There was a zoom, but then he zoomed out just as I think the action was happening. It definitely looks like it wasn't seen.
Yeah, I think he got away with it. And that is worth the trip out front in Gallery.
Any bug in Gallery is a good bug. Matt now definitely with a shot of pulling this game back. 2 minutes left on the clock, though. Wait, I say 2 minutes left on the clock? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always get confused that Gallery is a 3-minute 30-second map. It always feels so much more quicker when you're as a spy.
Yeah, it does. It goes very quick because as spy, I think you tend to think in terms of decisions and how long decisions normally make. But in this case, your decision to walk out front or back takes about twice as long sometimes. So you're making as many decisions, but it takes more time.
Great green BB in this forward conversation. I feel like most snipers tend to believe the BBs come from the back one.
Right, a little bigger, and there's more to do back there. You know, you really have to commit if you want to get the banana bread down out front because there's nothing else there other than maybe time ads and occasionally a bug opportunity.
Picking up the briefcase, I do believe there's no fingerprint on it either. Matt previously got a low light for picking up a briefcase that was a difficult fingerprint. This one has 0 fingerprint on it, so really looking to try and play into the behavioralist sniping style that Jecat tends to lean towards. 2 missions completed, 54 seconds. Going to be difficult to actually win this game.
Yeah, if somebody gives you that sort of low light, and sometimes for the match, do it here and there and think, maybe this wins me a game. I don't know if you can do it when you're running low on time, though. So that's pretty high risk.
Yeah, 40 seconds on the game and 17% on the flirt means that we have to do a purloin and then even potentially a swap or microfilm. It's a white purloin as well, meaning that the guest list fade is long. 25 seconds. This usually induces a shot on gallery. We're going to gulp our drink at the back of the conversation. Jecat, fairly confident that no one can be completed because he's not taking a shot yet.
I'm very impressed. I really thought that was going to induce a shot quickly.
Oh, no.
It did induce a shot, but not quickly.
That shot came due to the fact that the seduction target talks afterwards. Wouldn't make sense to shoot.
No, it was almost 20 seconds later. If you're going to shoot for the purloin, I totally understand. They could very well be done potentially.
Yeah, but he did also shoot someone who was holding a drink the whole time.
Yeah.
Sure. But if that purloin is the last mission, they're not done. They're already done.
No, I just mean that they're holding a drink, long before the purloin had happened.
Oh, that too. Sure.
And they were still holding the drink.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize someone for not, obviously you don't always track that until the purloin goes off and then you just kind of look around. I just don't understand the timing of the shot. Do you really think they're purloining into a final flirt? That seems unlikely.
And also, by looks of it, just watching back with hindsight 2020, the talk animation from Twin started at the 24th second mark. The shot took at 12 seconds. So as far as timing is concerned, Track, you're 100% right. It was 12 seconds after if that was a mission complete. Yeah,
and it's a marginal thing. We're criticizing as something that's very easy to mess up, a few seconds here and there, but that is the difference, in a lot of these games. In that case, that really shouldn't have induced a shot, and yet it did.
And the interesting thing is, Matt, I was expecting him to go for one of these statues here, but it looks like he was heading out to try and climb at. I don't even know if he would have had enough time to get there.
Not even with Alice. No, It's just too long. I think Matt actually made a number of very questionable decisions there in the last minute of that game.
Yeah, why did he even bother flirting?
Yeah, even if it's green, maybe a red flirt makes sense there. Even I think a lot of those decisions didn't make a lot of sense after a pretty solid first half of the game, and Jecat bails him out with a shot that I just frankly can't explain entirely, other than, hey, this game is hard.
All right, yep, it is a hard game. I agree. All right, and with that, we get to see at least one round of the best map.
If you say so, yeah.
Yep. No bias here. This is just objectively true.
Your tastes are diametrically opposed to one of our other hosts, Hummus. You two could not disagree more on map choices.
Yep. I mean, so the funny thing is, so far this season, I've never picked Courtyard. Because
now that you've said that, buddy, someone's gonna make you.
No, they can't make me. I won't pick it.
Well,
anyway.
Then it's not gonna happen, I guess. If they know.
that is a good point. No one can actually make you pick a map. I mean, I would say that this is a map that most of the time I would avoid playing. I've banned it 33% of my SCL games so far.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll see how Jecat does playing for a draw at the minimum. So, or at the maximum anyway.
I mean, a draw is what they achieved in week 4 when they played up against each other.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's a result you're going to be fairly happy with. If
he has to win these next 2 in a row. It's going to be pretty tough. But it's possible. We'll see in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
That's a really brutal. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you win on Spy when you're trying to get the tie, I feel like your confidence scores through the roof.
It should, yeah. Jecat was actually just in a really good position there. Matt was in trouble as Spy, even having gotten away with the bug, and the frame attempt or whatever it was there late just should not have worked. Could have been tied heading into Courtyard and looking at another tie between these two. Instead, Jecat has fighting for his life.
Holy moly, that was a very speedy contact. The double agent split, or as we call it, a BB split. Jecat's attempt there is to pick up the briefcase, go for a green, contact the double agent, and then split with the briefcase to really just nail home the fact that he is worthy of a low light. Matt's not going to fall for it here. ML726 holds the trigger on any low light. So at least for Jecat, you can say mission progress is good, but the intended trick wasn't so successful.
Yeah, between a green flirt and an early fingerprint, you have so many options now. And already mixing up the standard courtyard script, I like it. I would keep the pressure on, keep going. I like aggression as a spy, even when your back is against the wall. I admire it.
So we have our flirt, 85% at this point, and we have 1 minute and 44 seconds to decide how we're going to write the rest of this game. We see the ambassador over there in the far conversation with a briefcase by his shoes. So that's a possible fingerprint there. Likely, Jecat doesn't want to do 2 briefcases as they're a little bit more obvious to the sniper. So instead, what we do is we walk all the way over to the opposite side of the conversation from our seduction target. With 85%, the lowest flirt we can do is 17%, and that will get us 100.
Yeah, very good position here. Now you have over a minute to go for your standard inspects and do 1 fingerprint. Ideally, you would love, love, love to do them at the same time.
I wonder if there's a print on a statue. I think the ambassador just went to one. I wasn't looking too eager-eyed, but I'm sure Jecat was, and if there is, he will know where to go for it. Jecat just waiting it out.
The fact that he hasn't yet makes me think he might not be aware, but we'll see. Either that or he's showing tremendous
patience.
It's a bug.
It's a bug right in front of the laser.
No.
Not how you want to end.
I don't know why you do that. I don't see the logic. You're ahead in that game, almost certainly. Maybe thought he was a huge suspect or something from that early move. But look at what happens too here. It's right on the same side as the tray while it's down, being offered to a non-low light, a non-cast member. No reason really to be looking anywhere else. I think Jecat gave that game away there.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't go for just wait for a fingerprint.
Oh, there was actually one available as well.
Yeah,
on the,
also that.
The left statue.
Yeah, there it is. Because we could have gotten a fingerprint and an inspect.
Yeah, you don't. I don't think you get shot there. I don't think you get shot there.
It was very early on in the game that the ambassador visited that statue. You know, so it would have been pretty difficult for Jecat to have full confidence and knowledge because he was on the opposite side of the map when the ambassador went there. Actually, no, never mind. I take that back. Jecat has every opportunity to know that that fingerprint is on that statue.
Yeah.
And at the time he goes for the bug, there was a whole minute plus surpassed, and no one had been to that statue. So there's almost no way Matt knows the statue has a fingerprint on it and can remember it.
Yeah, there is just such a fine line between opportunism and impulsivity, and we saw it right there. That's the big difference. I feel like maybe just an aggressive, impulsive bug just didn't line up. And Jecat there, you know, you look at the score, 7-4. You know, it's not a blowout. Certainly, it's also not super close. But watching those individual games, you realize Jecat was actually in a very, very good position to win that or at least tie it.
Yep. No, for sure. That's an unfortunate loss, one that Jecat will beat himself up about, I'm sure. But you can hold your head high. You're in a very good position to have a rematch in one of the more important matches of the season, which would be a finals showdown.
Yeah, that's you. If you're going to lose one of these 2 potential matches to Matt, this in a finals, this is the one you wanted to lose. And the next time, if they do meet again, it will be in a longer set. You'll have a lot of time to study. And if you're Matt, you need to be able to mix it up a little bit more. You can't let him pick balcony and wait on your crazy crash bug and hope he shoots again.
All right, and with that, we're on to our final set. We've got a